Hi everyone, I'm Kindall Tyson, licensed therapist and professional school counselor, and the proud owner of Aspire Counseling and Wellness Center, a private therapy practice based in Texas, but I also operate internationally. And I wanted to just come on for a few brief moments, and I wanted to offer a solution-focused response to the insensitive and incorrect statements by one of the school board members from SelfCare this particular week. I don't need to get into the details. Everyone has seen it. But I want to first stand in solidarity with all of the educators that do the good work of providing a safe, supportive, well-rounded, holistic, true educational experience for all of our students. The research says, and we know, that when you have a diverse personnel, a diverse teaching staff, that the students, their outcomes are better. When you have teachers that are well taken care of, when you have teachers that are provided the appropriate support, when you have teachers that are encouraged and acknowledged and that are given opportunities to grow and to lead, when you demonstrate not only in word but in deed and in policy to teachers that they matter, when you provide them with safe working environments, that vigor and that tenacity that they already have is going to trickle down into how they effectively educate our students. And so I want to first offer my solidarity to all of the educators, Black, brown, and everything in between, that not only work in SelfCare, but work in all of the districts in Texas. I was a counselor in SelfCare for 3 years before I transitioned overseas to Beijing. I also was an educator in HIZ and Aldine, where I got my start. I want to give a shout out to Drew, Charles R. Drew, in Acres Homes. That's where I got my start. And so I am the product of amazing educators. And I know that I, as an educator, grew because of some of the wonderful individuals that helped grow me as an educator and that poured into themselves, giving their all to our students. And so I want to stand in solidarity with you all. But I want to offer some things that we can continue to do, even if it's virtual and face-to-face, hopefully in a safe way, that can help bolster the experience, not just for the educators, but for students as well. One of the expertise that I have as a professional is I do a lot of coaching work with educators about their wellness, about how to show up as their best selves, taking care of themselves, setting goals, growing in their career, what it looks like to engage in their career as the best version of themselves. And I do a lot of therapeutic work, therapy sense, with a lot of adolescents and families. Research right now states that there is an increase in anxiety, an increase in depression, and we're all still unfortunately experiencing a collective trauma. And research is also saying that there's definitely going to be currently and moving forward in the future just an uptick in the levels of grief, unprocessed grief. So it is going to be our job, continue to be our job as educators, to doing the good work of supporting our students. And these are some ways in which that we can engage in that, not only in the school building, but virtually if need be, and out in our communities. More advocacy work. So we know that in Texas, there's a lot that's happening when it comes to school board meetings. And I want to encourage you, if you can, whether you have a student in a school or not, to advocate for not only our educators, but our students at these school board meetings. We have to utilize our voice, and being able to collectively support one another, hopefully, is going to go a long way toward dispelling the narrative, the negative narrative, and continuing to demonstrate the good work that you all are doing, while showing students that you will advocate for them, not just in the schoolhouse, but outside as well. Offering therapy. Counselors in the schools act as a liaison between community therapists and support systems within the school building. To parents, I want to encourage you, if you are able to, not only for yourselves, but for your students, to reach out to a licensed professional, a licensed therapist, psychotherapist, psychiatrist if need be, licensed clinical social worker. I'm a psychotherapist myself. This is the time to be providing the additional support that our students are needing. Just with statistics since 2019, there's a 44% increase in students creating suicide plans, making plans to die by suicide. Suicide is the number 2 cause of death from people ages 10 to 34. And additionally, there's 1 in 6 students that are reporting, making plans for suicide. Our kids are hurting. And I know that our educators are too. So it is our job to do our due diligence in providing them the support to not only take care of their mental health, but their physical health, and provide safe environments for them. Additionally, how can we continue to create safe spaces within a school and outside in the community? What are some of the programs that we can offer? For instance, when I was a counselor in SelfCare, I created this social emotional program called Becoming Better Students in the school that I worked in. And I partnered with my AP partner at the time, Diana Bell. Hola querida, I miss you. And some of the amazing educators at our school provided mentorship and support. And we offered small group homogeneous classes for some of our students at risk for a variety of reasons, just to offer them that additional support, that additional foundation, that additional wraparound service to help them with their social emotional learning, help them learn to express their emotions, help them to be able to build community, help them to be able to identify their systems of support and resources. We brought in community members, mentorship programs. We had people come and speak to them. We had celebrations, all in the effort to show these individual students that we care, providing them that additional level of support to help them further their growth and development in the school setting, right? That is our job as educators, and I'm trying not to preach, once an educator, always an educator, to do the good work of what does it look like to create these safe spaces for our kids to grow. Additionally, building strong relationships with our kids is something that we do anyway, right? We're relational. We want to make sure that we're able to be connected in an appropriate manner with our students, so that they know that they have systems of support, individuals that they can reach out to. They have human resources that they can connect with, which helps them to build their resilience, which helps them to have reduced levels of anxiety, reduced levels of depression, when they know that there are people out there in the world that will support them through not only their best times, but some of their more challenging times as well. Additionally, creating social emotional learning programs, helping them to engage in community activities safely right now is also going to help bolster and improve their sense of self-esteem. And lastly, I'd say just really doing the work of helping them to build their inner motivation, perseverance, and resilience. One thing I will say is that we can't self-care our way out of systemic issues. We can do the work of taking care of ourselves, engaging in healthy self-care, engaging in communities of support, but it is we got to do more to advocate to try and change the systems that make how we are experiencing our current lives more challenging. Be that, challenging systems of racial oppression, be that, doing what we can to advocate for better and safer environments in our schools, be that advocating for better community resources and support. It's just really working together as a community. And again, I'm trying not to preach, to figure out what's one small thing that we can do to help our students experience, our students, mental health, our students get through this pandemic in as best a fashion as possible. And I'll definitely say, ask them, what do they need? They're very equipped to tell you. So I'm going to leave you with my 3 A's. The first one is, this is for parents, this is for educators, acknowledge. Acknowledge that we are in a challenging time. I think you all know that anyway. But if you notice that kids that you're working with or your own kids in general might have made a 180 in how they're experiencing the world. If you notice that they might be having some mental health issues, if you notice that they've become more withdrawn, experiencing symptoms of depression and anxiety, are irritable, struggling with sleep, not enough sleep, too much sleep, eating habits, if you notice that they've really just changed, those are things to acknowledge because they could be potentially dealing with a mental health issue. Additionally, it's to accept it. I know sometimes it's very difficult to accept that there's a problem, but it's difficult to do the work to mitigate problems if we don't accept that there's an issue. And the big thing is you not to take it personally. Nobody is at fault if somebody is experiencing a challenge, right? It's just to acknowledge and accept there's a problem here. I have a resource to rectify, to mitigate, to support, and now let me tap into that. And if you struggle with identifying where you can find resources, you can go online to the Boris L. Henson Foundation. They're offering services to find therapy. You can go to Therapy for Black Girls, Therapy for Black Kids. You can go to Psychology Today. Google is a great resource. Check with your insurance if you have it. If not, check with your Health and Human Services. There's so many ways in which to gain that additional support to help not only your outcomes, but your children as well. And that leads me to my last A, take action. There's no time like today to try to put a stamp in the trouble that you could potentially be facing. And it is important to get ahead of things. You want to be preemptive. You want to be proactive. Sometimes we are reactive to things, and that's okay as long as we take action. But there's a lot of support, a lot of resources out there for everyone. And again, I just want to offer my support if needed. Again, I'm a licensed therapist in the state of Texas. You can go to aspirecounselingwell.com if you are seeking a therapist. There's so many people out here that want to support not only our educators, but our students and families. We can get through this thing together if we, 1, acknowledge, 2, accept, and 3, take action. And I know I talked a lot longer than I intended to, but this subject is so near and dear to my heart. I want to leave it with, I support all of you teachers. I know that you're doing the Lord's work, helping to grow our population of leaders, our next generation of, great thinkers and creators, educators, hopefully, and helping professionals. You do the work, right? It takes a good teacher to populate the world with the individuals that make a difference. So I just want to again offer my support. Please reach out and seek support if you are in need of it. And I hope that everyone is healthy and as happy as you can be. And I will check in with you soon. Have a good one. Bye.